Holly here from Your Past is a Gift. Now in this video I wanted to talk to all the parents out there, okay, because there's a time in your life when you have children and they find love and they want to make their own life, okay? Now I'm talking from my experience when I broke up with my first partner. What happened was I just felt like I was always stuck up against the wall, right in this corner, and I always had to be choosing between him and my mother more than my family. It was just my mum, right? There was this constant argument going on backwards and forwards, you know, and in their eyes, in my parents' eyes, he wasn't good enough. He was isolating me from the rest of the world. You know, between us we had created this bubble and we were happy in this bubble together. We were. But to them it was like he had sucked me out of life altogether and just stuck me into this bubble, okay? And so they couldn't see the beauty of the relationship, you know? When I broke up with this partner, and of course, you know, I didn't see him ever again. Oh, no, I lie. I broke up with him and I saw him later. He came to visit here in Australia. And I think I saw him once. And then I realized that it wasn't going to change, okay? The dynamics of what was going on, it wasn't going to change. I couldn't change it. I spent a good 7 years not wanting to talk to my parents. A good 7 years that I was so angry with them. And the reason I was angry with them was that this was my life. This was my life. I should be allowed to choose who I want to spend it with and who I don't. You know, they should have trusted that I knew what I needed. I knew what I needed. Because before I met him, I was lost. I remember feeling, I think it was the year before I met him, I remember just feeling so lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my place in the world. All I knew was study. Study, tests, exams, assignments. That was my life, you know, up until we started dating. And from the moment that we started dating, my whole focus shift. You see, there's the focus again. It focuses on one thing and then all of a sudden, well, over here now. We're looking over here now. We're not looking over there anymore. So, you know, the stage of falling in love was just beautiful because it was just me and him, and we were discovering ourselves through each other, you know, discovering what love was, how to give love, how to demonstrate love, all the different ways, you know, that love exists. Because there's only a certain way that you can show love with your parents, you know, or there's only a certain way you can express it with your parents. You know, it can be through hugs, through smiles, through talking with them. It's a certain kind of love. But with a relationship comes the love where you have the physical connection that you can't have with any other relationship in your life. It's so different. It just takes you to a whole different level of what love is, of how connected you can be to another human being, you know? And it was the first time in my life, you know, I'm trying to think how long, first few months, let's call it that, because I can't remember where it kind of stopped, that we couldn't stop staring at each other. We would just spend hours just staring into each other's eyes. And I had never done that before. I didn't know what that was. I looked at my cousins when we played, and I looked at my friends when we talked. But this was a different looking. When we looked into each other's eyes, it was a different looking, that we were mesmerized. We just couldn't stop staring at each other in our eyes. Not the rest of us, but in our eyes. Because when it came to attraction, physically, I didn't find him that attractive. He was really the opposite of everything I had imagined that I would have in a partner, physically, you know. But then there was that connection, because there's been so many times where I've read that the eyes are the window to the soul. And I've said this in previous videos. You can see someone smiling and yet their eyes are sad. The eyes never lie. You can always tell in the eyes. A person could be smiling, but their eyes are full of shame. A person could be smiling and their eyes are full of guilt. And you can see it. If they're willing to look at you, if you're willing to look at yourself, you'll see it. But at that moment, when we found each other and we couldn't stop looking into each other's eyes, there was just this pure joy, this bliss of just, it's like we discovered a whole new world together, you know? It was just wonderful. And I just remember it was just so wonderful that I know, you know, it's with friends always we're talking about what do you look for when you look, you know, you're looking at a guy, what do you look for? And somehow they're always going to the physical. And every time they ask me, I'd be like, the eyes. And they'd be like, you know, what's wrong with you? Why are you looking at the eyes? And I'm like, because they're fascinating. Have you like not looked properly into someone's eyes? It's like looking into these tiny little balls of, it's like a little universe. If you look at an eye properly, you really look at it, you look at the detail of it, it's just amazing, it's mind-boggling. And you get lost in it. You know, how beautiful the eyes can be. And this is the thing that I learnt much, much later in life. Everyone's eyes are different. There's no two the same. The pattern inside the eyes are all different. So when you are looking, it is like looking at a different universe. Because it will not be the same as anyone else's. I just find them fascinating. I don't know what it is about eyes. I just love the colours. I like looking at all the details and all the little specks and just beautiful. Really beautiful. So there's a thought for you. You know, when you're not sure of how you're feeling or what you're going through, look at your eyes in the mirror. How do they look? You can see straight away. Are they looking sad when they look back at you? Do they look like they're full of shame? Do they look like they're full of guilt? And then address that. Use all the videos that I've put together for you. Address it. Why is that there? Why are you feeling that way? Where did it come from? Address it. Because in understanding why you feel that way, where it came from, at what point in time you created that belief about yourself, once that all comes together for you, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you see the whole picture, you can let it go. You don't need to feel that way about yourself anymore. You're done with it. All right, my darlings? Good. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe below so you don't miss any of the messages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.